Thanks and good morning again, everyone. Thanks first of all for inviting. It's actually a privilege, to be representing Generali here and to participate to this dialogue. I've taken a look at the leaflet here, the orange one, and I think we cover pretty much every keyword. It's actually put here. Maybe one is the fact that sometimes this challenge is underestimated. And is sometimes also true in the insurance world. Sometimes it's much easier to talk about like earthquakes, for us at least as technicians, like floods and hurricanes and so on. Longevity is a kind of a trend risk that potentially, is even more risky. But sometimes we are distracted by, shocks rather than trend risks. I see the attention is, picking up also in the insurance industry. We are literally increasing the level of attention. And here I will try to drive you through some numbers first, globally, and then come up with, what the insurance industry see as a kind of an opportunity, and also how Generali is actually placed in the marketplace. Sorry, can you give me the pointer? Thank you. Thank you. So I will not spoil actually the contents, but I will drive you through some numbers first. Without repeating what has been already said, in terms of demographic changes, it's not really about how longevity is really increasing. Yes, that's the matter, but it's also how it is composed in terms of clusters of populations, in terms of types and segments of population, in terms of age, gender, income, as all the drivers we have seen in these 2 days. Globally, we are talking about in 2030 an estimate of 8.5 billion global populations in the world, which is going to be roughly a little bit more than 10 billion in 2080. But it's unevenly, distributed geographically, especially. So that's the issue. We know about life expectancy. Here we are reporting 81 years, globally as expected life expectancy in OECD countries. Of course, it depends by geography and so on. But another aspect is migration impact. In 2024, we are talking about an overall number of more than 300 million migrants in the world. And it's, of course, picking up and is higher now. If you take, a closer look in terms of evolution, also expected in 2050, as also Gregorio was mentioning for Italy, I think here we are speaking about 16% of the overall population in 2050 will be over 65. Currently, we are around, 10% roughly. So it's actually quite an evident, evolution in terms of, at least expected estimates here from the the United Nations. And of course, this poses challenges in terms of sustainability and diversification. Also of the, proposition that from insurance industry we want to put forward to our different, segments of clients. And taking a closer look geographically, what does it mean, especially for Europe and North America? Of course, starting from a percentage of people above 65, which is still and already, the highest in the world in 2019, but just keeping the pace and be the first again in 2050, roughly 20-25%. But also Southeast Asia especially, and also Eastern Asia, is actually picking up more steeply, if you see, and very much, getting very close to the European levels. And by chance, these are the two regions where Generali is most focused. Yes, it's true we have Latin America presence, we have some, propositions of our services, especially in US, but most of the volumes is actually lying in Europe and Eastern Europe, and where the growth engine is really for us is Asia. On top of that, fertility rate is literally crashing globally, but especially if you take a snapshot of, especially here, Western Europe and Southeast Asia, we are really going, from 2000 to, from 2010 through to 2023, down 19% for Western Europe and 16% for Southeast Asia. We mentioned migration. Here we are showing the total population expectations, the total population globally until 2024, and the percentage of migrants that is literally increasing. We are reaching 3.7% in 2024. And this poses, a couple of challenges, at least two challenges we are trying also to tackle from an insurance industry. One is, how are we sort of welcoming migrants in, destination countries like in Europe? Because many times, of course, they don't have like the wealth, to pay proper insurance coverage, but also, and most importantly, they are living in their own home countries, families, and they send, pretty substantial cash remittance to the home families in the home countries, and themselves as well, they don't have proper insurance coverages, and we are talking about, of course, emerging markets. If you think about currently the estimations about the total cash remittance from developed countries to emerging countries for this reason is around about $700 billion. So it's a huge amount of cash remittance that is going there, and it is attracting even more attention in the insurance industry. I will tell you a bit more later on. Life expectancy, of course, we know that. Here we are focusing on Italy, France, Germany, and US, but also the difference when you show it in terms of number of years with the health span is actually pretty significant. We are around about 11 years difference with respect to the life or longevity span. This has to be, on top of this, combined with the wealth span, because it's, the period of your life where you are building your wealth, which is, reaching 63 years on average globally. So it's a kind of a challenge where now the needs of customers that we see, and in general the population, is actually changing a lot. There were also earlier this morning, some references to how insurance industry should tackle that, and I will tell you a bit more later on. Here, just on the right, just a couple of references to a couple of very relevant numbers. So if you take into account the pension expenditures, public versus private, the public ones has been increasing from 2010 to 2022 only 5%, while the private ones has been picking up by 14%. So it's literally an imbalance that is increasing over time, and that is actually, bringing more, burden to the private population as well, and also a flash on, medical expenses, especially on health, the out-of-pocket expenses. So that is the expenses that really population is taking on their own shoulders, is actually increasing from, again, 2010 to 2023 by 15%. So really huge, and this is a first indication of the protection gaps I will make reference to. So all in all, we are talking about, if you focus on the health part of a protection gap, which is very close to $900 billion globally, of which $130 billion is in Western Europe. If you move down to the pension, bottom left, the pension gap is actually already at $1 trillion in 2022. And on the right-hand side, maybe it's not really visible, but we've been reporting some initiatives that insurance industry is taking in various ways and forms, but especially the biggest like Allianz, AXA and Zurich, they are trying to tackle also the emerging needs from the emerging markets, so the developing countries. And in most of the times, like in the case of AXA with AXA Essential, as a separate entity, they are trying to tackle what they call the emerging consumers. So we have each one a different definition, but I think the meaning is trying to be closer to the segments of population that really need help in this environment. In terms of product proposition from an insurance perspective, here we focused and we clustered a bit how insurance industry is moving. So from the left side, like on the health part, there is more and more, proposition for funeral expenses, and especially Spain is a pretty active market on that. There's reference to inflation protection. Inflation for health business from our industry, for Generali also, is actually a great challenge because here we are making reference to the real specific inflation for health expenditures or medical expenses, which is typically now especially higher than the consumer pricing index or the CPI normal indexes. So it's a kind of a risk we are taking duly into account. In terms of health proposition, critical illness, for example, or in general disabilities is something that we are trying to tackle with offers, standalone, and especially in China, critical illness is actually a very big market. Regulator is actually imposing strict, constraints, but it's a big market, and I want you to give that example. Annuities, we usually split between pension annuities or pension products and like pension or annuities optionalities in saving products, like typical saving products that can be converted into annuities. In this latter case, the conversion to annuities is actually very, very low. We are very close to 0% or single digit, low single digit, depending on geography. In the pension annuity side, it's actually a pension native product, so the take-up rate of annuities at the retirement age is much higher, and according to, this is a figure from our own portfolio, is approaching 20%. So 80% in any case is taking lump sum, and it's a matter of perception, it's a matter of maybe trust also in the insurance industry, and it's a matter of also of education that also Gregorio mentioned that is very, very relevant also from an insurance perspective. Care, long-term care has been mentioned. We are more and more attaching riders, so additional guarantees to existing products to provide long-term care assistance, and this is developing. And then wellness and home, it's more on the space of, if you like, services that we add to the main products in terms to be closer and incentivize also wellness behaviors and assistance at home that can be pretty valuable in this environment. How Generali is preparing, so I would guess pretty much the groups of 75 million customers around the globe, but we're reaching 100 billion premiums globally. Well, what it matters more is actually we are serving a pretty global community. We're not present in Africa, but in US we are especially in the services, as I mentioned, very pretty much growing. But if we focus on the lines of business we are referring to, like protection, so we mean protecting the life of the people, health in terms of especially medical expenses or income protection in case of, loss of occupation, for example, or accident, which is the Italian name is infortuni, so the accident. So globally now this piece, of the cake is growing pretty significantly, and we are reaching 22%. This is year-end 25 numbers, 22% of the overall premium, which is pretty significant. It used to be pretty much lower in the past, but what we're trying to do is actually to grow, especially in the health. We are actually pushing a lot. So one of the initiatives that globally we have been taking off in line with our strategy is actually to create the competence internally, first of all, to understand the demographic shifts, and then to sort of transfer what we learn and what we know into the pricing, into the reserving, into our typical job on a daily basis. We do it with two pillars. One is sustainability strategy, meaning being present in discussion tables like this one, and trying to gather and establish partnerships and act as a think tank also within the group and with our business units around the globe. Second pillar is more on the business side, being an accelerator of the business itself. And I think here on the bottom right part, we are focusing more on what we call it product features or technical basis. So I'm referring to like technical assumptions of like the interest rate we mentioned with the Sweden friends earlier this morning, trying to see if they are still adequate to this current development. Second, to provide risk transfer support. So we may want to retain all of the risks we embark through our policies, but we may want also to reinsure, to cede some of this risk out to other players. And there is a market for longevity. There is, it was originally born from US and UK especially, but it's picking up also in the Netherlands as well, but it's trying to pick up also in the continental European countries. And also we are trying to establish partnerships with academia. We have a partnership with Bocconi and one with MIB in Trieste, where we are working on these technical, especially aspects of technical assumptions. In terms to close, how we are trying to tackle, especially probably the most delicate segments, which is the emerging needs. So the clients that we may want to attract from emerging countries. We have like three kinds of different cooperations. One, we have a partnership with the development program of the United Nations, where we are especially working in Southeast Asia on prevention programs. Especially last year in Thailand, we have been working on an air pollution program, prevention program for employees working in SMEs, where we share the tool to estimate also the risk they are running, especially if they are working outside, and to suggest any prevention measures to take care of their own health. In the middle, Insurance Development Forum is actually a gathering of also insurance players, insurance and reinsurance players, private and public also institutions to work together in a public-private partnership way. And one example is that we are trying to see how to work on the cash remittance for migrants I mentioned before, so trying to attach a kind of a very low premium protection to the cash remittance that is going to the home countries of migrants reaching developed countries. And third, but not least, is actually a specific initiatives we are working also with CDP in Italy and with UNIDO, so another agency of the United Nations. Along the lines of the Piano Mattei in Italy, we are trying to analyze, especially in Africa, Uganda and Tanzania at the beginning, trying to put focus on how we can assist especially small and medium farmers to make sure we are providing insurance protection through the overall value chain of the coffee in this case. It's a pretty difficult and long project, and we have been launching last year. And focus in this case, but also in other cases, is to provide some parametric protection, so linked to objective kind of parameters outside without any subjectivity, elements into it. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show. Happy to take your questions following.